Hello, everyone, and welcome to the non-dual lectionary for the first Sunday of Advent in year A. We finished up year C, which was mostly selections from Luke and John, and now we start with year A, which is mostly Matthew. First Sunday of Advent, and there's themes in Advent, obviously, but let's just get right to it. Um, it's Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 44. But about that day and hour no one knows, neither the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. For as the days of Noah were, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in the days before the flood they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing until the flood came and swept them all away. So too will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then two will be in the field, one will be taken and one will be left. Two women will be grinding meal together. One will be taken and one will be left. Keep awake, therefore, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. So, obviously, there's like a surface level reading to this that um, probably is the traditional or literal reading, right? That like the Son of Man, which often gets interpreted as Jesus, right? Jesus Christ will come again, the second coming, and you need to be ready. You need to prepare yourself for it as an actual event in history that's going to come. That's not the interpretation I'm going to propose, at least not as far as we're taking this non-dual perspective and gleaning these lessons from it. And we have Jesus's teacher here again, right? And like I think I started with last year, I think we'll start again this year, right? Which is one of the unlocking keys, I think, is what seems to be about the outside is also what's going on inside, right? So, what does it mean for the Son of Man to come, right? The day of the Lord is coming, all of that. As a teacher, in the great wisdom tradition, right? This is probably pointing towards something more like the recognition of one's true nature that always and already is, right? But that recognition that feels like it comes from somewhere else because it certainly doesn't come from this me. It almost by definition, it's not the me, right? And not that it's separate from it either, but it can feel like it comes from outside, right? This waking up event in particular. Um, and so, what do we do about that, right? What's the perspective we can take on it, or what can we do to prepare is kind of what this is about, right? And when I say prepare, I think that's actually a good word for it because every great teacher is going to tell you you can't do anything to make it happen. Right? um one of the classic sayings is, enlightenment's an accident, meditation can make you accident prone, right? So something like that of you can kind of put yourself in the best position for something to happen that is outside of your control. And when we take that perspective, then, right, we can either be carrying on in our day to day, like the psychological self, eating, drinking, and being married, or we can do those things that kind of put us in the best position, right, to stay awake as best we can as a separate self, which is limited, but kind of as best as we can, right? Knowing that thing can happen, that recognition that seems like it comes from outside, that waking up experience, um, in a time we don't expect. Because if we could expect it, then we could engineer it. And the whole point again is not the whole point, but one of the key lessons is we can't engineer it. If we could, then every meditation teacher would say these are the steps you need to follow. But the whole point being that if it always already is, if this is truly a recognition of what exists, and not just what exists, right? But your true nature, not even who you are, but like what you are, or just to, again, like a recognition, a realization of what already is now, and now, then there isn't something you could do to make that happen because that would be a thing that happened then. So again, if we take that unlocking key of like what seems to be outside is really inside, I feel like that unlocks this whole passage here. And yeah, the message is do your best to be awake, right? To not just play the games of the psychological self, eating and drinking and being married. Nothing wrong with any of those things. But if those become what is about, then yeah, the flood comes, right? Um, but instead to till the soil, to be as to set the groundwork for maybe something to show up that the self can't expect, right? No matter how the self imagines it could be, the self will be wrong. But something that, in the end just is a recognition and realization of what already is.